The lion's pride. Once upon a time, in a jungle, there lived a mighty lion. The lion was the king of all the animals in the jungle. The lion was very proud of his strength and power and often boasted about it to the other animals. One day, a tiny mouse accidentally ran over the lion's paw. The lion was so angry that he roared at the mouse, ready to pounce on it with his sharp claws. The mouse, trembling with fear, begged the lion to forgive him, promising that he would repay the lion's kindness one day. The lion laughed at the mouse and let it go, thinking that such a tiny creature could never help him. One day, while the lion was sleeping, he was caught in a hunter's trap. The lion roared and struggled to break free, but the trap was too strong. The mouse, who was passing by, heard the lion's cries and recognized the lion's voice. The mouse ran to the lion and saw that he was trapped. The mouse quickly gnawed through the ropes of the trap, freeing the lion. The lion was amazed that such a tiny creature could help him. From that day on, the lion and the mouse became friends. The lion learned that even the smallest creatures can be helpful and that kindness should be given to all, no matter how small or weak they may seem. The moral of the story is that kindness is never wasted, and even the smallest acts of kindness can be repaid in the most unexpected ways. The Jack and the Beanstalk. Once upon a time, there was a young boy named Jack who lived with his mother in a small village. Jack and his mother were very poor, and they struggled to make ends meet. One day, Jack's mother asked him to sell their cow at the market. Jack set out with the cow, but on the way, he met a strange old man who offered to trade him 5 magic beans for the cow. Jack agreed, and he returned home with the beans. Jack's mother was furious when she found out that he had traded the cow for beans. She threw the beans out the window and sent Jack to bed without dinner. That night, a magical beanstalk grew from the beans and reached all the way up to the sky. Jack woke up to find the beanstalk and decided to climb it. When Jack reached the top of the beanstalk, he found a beautiful castle. He decided to sneak inside and explore. Jack found a room full of treasure and started to fill his pockets with gold and jewels. Suddenly, he heard a loud voice calling out, "Fee-fi-fo-fum, I smell the blood of an Englishman." Jack quickly hid behind a cupboard. A giant appeared in the room, and Jack watched as he counted his treasure. The giant had a magic hen that laid golden eggs. Jack decided to steal the hen and take it back down the beanstalk. As he was leaving, the giant woke up and chased after him. Jack managed to slide down the beanstalk and cut it down, causing the giant to fall to his death. Jack and his mother used the golden eggs to become rich and happy. They never had to worry about money again. Jack had learned that sometimes taking risks can lead to great rewards, but it's important to be careful and think things through. The Little Frog Who Climbed to the Top. Once upon a time, a group of frogs decided to have a race. The goal was to reach the top of a tall tower. A large crowd gathered to watch the race and cheer on the frogs. As the race began, many in the crowd began to doubt the ability of the frogs to reach the top. They shouted, "Oh, it's too difficult. They'll never make it." One by one, the frogs began to give up and fall off the tower. However, there was one little frog who kept climbing and climbing. The crowd continued to shout their doubts, but the little frog refused to listen. Finally, he reached the top of the tower, and the crowd cheered wildly. When the other frogs asked him how he managed to do it, he simply replied, "I couldn't hear you. I was too busy climbing." The moral of the story is to never listen to the negative voices around you, and to always believe in yourself. The power of perseverance. Once upon a time, there was a little girl who loved to sing. She would sing all day long, but her parents didn't like it because they thought she wasn't very good. One day, the girl went to the forest to practice her singing, and she met a bird who was singing beautifully. The bird told her that everyone has their own unique voice and that she should keep singing no matter what anyone else says. So the little girl continued to sing, and eventually, her parents realized how much joy it brought her and they started to support her. The moral of the story is to never give up on what you love, even if others don't believe in you. The little artist who could. Once upon a time, there was a little girl who loved to draw. She drew everywhere she went, on everything she could find. One day, she drew on the walls of her house. Her mother got angry and told her she was never allowed to draw again. The little girl was devastated and stopped drawing altogether. Years later, the little girl became a famous artist. When asked how she became so talented, she replied, "I stopped drawing when I was little because my mother told me I couldn't. But then I realized that I loved it too much to stop. So I kept drawing and practicing, and now, here I am." The moral of the story is to never give up on something you love, even if others tell you that you can't do it. The Starfish Savior. Once upon a time, a man was walking along the beach and saw a boy picking up starfish and throwing them back into the ocean. The man asked the boy why he was doing this, and the boy replied that the starfish would die if they didn't get back into the water. The man pointed out that there were too many starfish and the boy couldn't possibly save them all. The boy picked up another starfish and threw it into the ocean, saying, "I saved that one." The moral of the story is that even small actions can make a big difference. The little girl's reward. Once upon a time, there was a little girl named Lily. She loved to play in the park and feed the birds. One day, while she was feeding the birds, she saw a poor old man who was hungry and thirsty. Lily offered him some of her food and drink. The old man was very grateful and blessed Lily. He told her that her kindness would be rewarded. Lily did not understand what he meant but was happy to help. A few years later, Lily was walking in the park with her mother when she saw a beautiful bird that was trapped in a cage. The bird looked sad, and Lily wanted to help. She remembered the old man's words and decided to buy the bird and set it free. As soon as Lily set the bird free, it flew away, but not before leaving a feather behind. Lily picked up the feather and was amazed to see that it was made of gold. Lily realized that the old man's blessing had come true. Her kindness had been rewarded in an unexpected way. From that day on, Lily continued to help others and was always kind to those in need. The moral of the story is that kindness is always rewarded, even if it is not in the way that we expect. The Seashells Collector. Once there was a man who loved to collect seashells. He would spend hours walking up and down the beach, looking for the most beautiful shells. One day he found a very rare and beautiful shell, but as he picked it up, he noticed that it was still alive. The man was faced with a dilemma. He could either keep the shell and add it to his collection, or he could return it to the ocean where it belonged. After much consideration, the man decided to return the shell to the ocean. As he threw it back into the water, he realized that the shell was much more beautiful in the ocean where it could continue to live and grow, rather than in his collection where it would eventually fade away. The moral of the story is that sometimes the most beautiful things in life are meant to be enjoyed and appreciated in their natural environment, rather than being taken away and kept for our own pleasure.